What's up, everybody? Happy Handsome Tuesday. You guys know it. Handsome Tuesday, one of the best days of the week. Actually, Wednesday's pretty good too, though. We're going to kick off with some action. Yep, we are live. We're going to kick off with some action, so you guys jump in as you want to. Huge shout out to New Jersey and New York. We had a lot of bad flooding, so hope you guys were safe. Didn't get caught in anything. It's really, really bad. So I think we might watch a clip or something later. But let's get into that action. We're going to start off with Achilles Hosha versus John Blank. We're going to see what was going on over there. We'll jump into some stories. We got some Buchecha. We got a little bit of Moneyberg. We got some Big Dan. We got some Jax Forrest. Let me move this thing over. But again, happy Handsome Tuesday. I'll keep saying that because, got to remind you guys that it's Tuesday. Is that the mailman? Here we go. That music, bro. Jesus Christ. So Thor is pulling the Mikey. Why is Thor pulling the Mikey? I don't like how Thor was coming after me when I fought him, but he'd go easy on everybody else. So that's pretty nice. He went from he gave up the single leg and then goes right into the front headlock. Nice attack. I'll turn down. Sometimes you guys can't hear me. I missed that part though. What did he do? He went from front headlock to pull guard. So the first half of the... Actually, I'm not... Was that the finals? He might have got a minus point for that. So I still don't know the ADCC rules. I believe you have to be in a turtle position for, 15, 30 seconds or something to be able to pull guard in the finals. Nice little arm drag here. So Thor does have a good butterfly guard. Off balance here. Boom. Right to arm drag. Okay. Achilles Hosha is tough. Hey. That was technically a throw. Technically is legal. That's legal. Should be. Can't get upset. That was technically legal. Nice inside position here. Yeah, so Achilles stepped forward. He steps in like to go like knee on belly or something. Boom. Leaves that leg open. Thor should have finished this here, but Achilles, he's tall. And he goes right to control Thor's head. So that was really good defense from him. So here, he's crunching Thor up so he can't get that leg. And then he starts to spin out. And because of that long leg, you guys also can't see, he's using his free leg to pummel inside. So he rolls one time, gets the foot in. Oh, I guess he didn't really do it. He should have done that. That's what he should have done. Nice entry on the heel hook, but he's not going to finish that there. Break it, Thor. Break. So, yeah, you go to ADCC, they trying to break your leg. I go to ADCC, they trying to break my leg. All right, so, that long leg is saving him. That long leg is saving him. He put some pressure on it. He knee pummel. Yeah, knee lever. He out of there. He's out. He's safe here. 50-50. Spinning out. Okay. Achilles Hosha is like the craziest dude. He rolled just like his daddy, though. So Thor's burned a lot of energy, you know. Achilles Hosha just made out of rubber. It's really hard to fight those kind of people, man. Made out of rubber and young. That was the best shot he had on you.
Hey, he's tired already, Achilles. He's already tired, Achilles. Control the foot action, Achilles.
That music probably gonna get me, guys. I'll take the hit on the music. Nothing I can do.
Do like I do, control it.
So nice little pass here. This has been working for a lot of people.
He plays behind
Maybe
the
that's the
middle
defense.
flank.
So he goes leg and head. You see that cross grip here? Well, not really cross grip. But it looks like you just got an invert out of there. I didn't know that. Learned a new lesson. Omoplata, triangle, no. Nice little, hey! That was smooth. So 2-on-1 here. Almost like a Keymaster guard. Pulls through, triangle. He gets his head out. Boom, right on the elbow. So, you know, Achilles, even if Achilles does win the match, he took some damage. He's okay, but he took a little bit of damage. He'll feel that when he's 30 years old. So he's able to get in a good position here. Thor should have let go earlier. Oh, man. Right on the side. I believe this is minus plus or 91 kg or something. I don't know. Not looking good, Thor. It's crazy because Achilles just got smashed by Tackett earlier. Like a week ago, a month ago or something. I'm not sure exactly what the points are, you know, or if there are any points. Usually it's the first 3 minutes. The finals might be 10 minutes or something. I don't know. Thor gets out. I don't know what the points are. You know, when you're down like this, it's hard to come back. It's hard to, hard to get your offense going. You know, the guy's slippery, you know. You might be a little bit more tired. Oh, so it hasn't been any points. I believe Thor has a negative point, though. I could be wrong, though. Nice entry on the leg. He's going to get out, though. Oh, he's back in. Slips out. Yeah, you know, in the finals, you can't pull guard, so I believe he got a minus point. Thor, what is Thor doing? I don't know. Achilles is big. He's like really big. On the outside heel hook. Switch calf slicer. Nope. Okay. You know, it's hard with those Gumby dudes, man. You think you got their leg, and you don't got their leg. Little Keymaster guard. Nice single leg switch. Wrestle up. He can pull his leg out. You know, man. You know, the Hosha's hard to score on. You gotta take their back somehow. You gotta take their back and get out of there. Nice little exit. He should have switched for a duck under. He was good here. That was a good move here. He should have. Yeah, he was stuck. I'm just waiting for ADCC to get sued. Not that they were an American company. Okay, jump guard. That's definitely a minus point for sure. Minus point. Minus point. Yeah. So, you know, all it takes is that minus point. Strategy's so important. So those points. So he definitely, I think when he pulled guard, was that? I'm not sure what they call. Maybe the last part was counted as a takedown, and he definitely got a minus point. So Thor's down by 2, so definitely a takedown. It's hard to score, man. Yeah, and then pass. That counts as a pass there. Probably. Kimura. Is that his dad? Turn, Thor. Turn. Keep turning. Get out of there, Thor. That's why I'm losing weight, so I don't have to fight these monsters. Hey, another takedown. Dude, you can hear them yelling because ADCC don't give no points. Nobody understands the points. I don't know what the points were for that, guys. I don't understand ADCC rules. Someone says, anytime a Hosha wins a match, an angel loses its wings. My friend competed against John Blank many years ago. John was so strong that he barely had a toe hold on my friend, but was still twisted. I mean, John's dangerous, yeah, but you know, you gotta play towards the tournament. We'll see. So yeah, so, you know, start the day off with some. We're gonna start the day off with some jiu-jitsu. Now we got some wrestling. We got Jax Forrest. They say, what's on Jax's mind after his big win?
Some ice cream tonight, huh? Hell yeah.
Hey, ice cream.
Yeah. Some ice cream tonight.
So if you guys, you know, didn't know, Jax Forrest just won. He just won the World Team Trial versus Vito. So for the senior world team, you know, not the junior world team, the senior world team. So super big. This is the second high schooler, you know, the second high schooler to make it to the world team. So that's amazing. You know, it's hard to wrestle these, you know, especially Nogi, these wiry kids, bro. They just like stuff that will work on an older person. They so Gumby, you grab something, they already out of it. You saw it with Lucas Hosha, Achilles Hosha. Yeah, man, it's crazy. We'll see how they do in the international wrestling though. Talking about the future, we got the future jiu-jitsu. We got Jaden Financier. He won worlds. What is that? Oh, got some. Like I said, guys, had some flooding. I think they got a street cleaner or something. I don't know what's going on out there. Just say a prayer for all the Jersey folks out here, man. We got hit hard. So let's let Jalen talk for himself.
What's up, guys? Jalen, the Future Financier here. I'm super excited to announce another seminar for my seminar tour. I'm going to be traveling to Seoul, Korea for my first time, and I'm going to be holding a 2-day seminar at Jiu-Jitsu World Gangnam in Seoul, Korea. The seminar is going to be on August 16th and 17th. For the first day, we're going to do some lasso sweeps and back takes, and then the second day, we'll have some lasso passing, and then on both days, we'll have some time also for a Q&A and some sparring. All right, so make sure you guys go follow and contact at jiu-jitsu-world_Gangnam. I'll have them tagged in the video for more information and stay updated on the seminar. All right, I'm super excited to share this experience with you guys. I can't wait to learn about your culture, and hopefully I'm going to have some authentic Korean barbecue. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you guys soon. What's up, guys? Jalen, the Future Fun Share here. I'm super excited to announce another seminar for my seminar tour. I'm going to be traveling to Seoul, Korea for my...
Shout out to him. He's going to be in Seoul, Korea. John Frank, man, that guy. Who is that John Frank dude? He got more schools than everybody over there. He's an early first mover though. You got. I guess he doesn't know there's a Lucas Lepre affiliate over there too. I don't know. Do whatever you want, Jalen. Do whatever you want, bro. I hope you're not just going to Korea and not hitting up Asia. You better do some more seminars, bro. Don't just jump to Korea and do one seminar. You better get some more schools on there. Come on, bro. That's a waste of your time. You fly all the way to Korea. You might be going to the Philippines. But, bro, you got to get more seminars, man. You can't just do one or two. You need to do, you need 5. You need 5 to 10 in that country. Maybe more. You want everybody in Korea to know who you are, Jalen. What do I know, though? We got Sarah Hildebrandt. What's up, girl? She got her new shoe. All right, this shoe better than Helen's. I'm sorry, Helen, but this shoe's better than yours. I wish I could get a pair, but it's just built for girls' feet. We got to make the shoes equally for everybody, guys. Come on. I'm not saying I'll wear the pink, but, I want to support Sarah. We don't got that many tabs today, but we do got Ronnie Coleman, lightweight baby.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Big Ron here. And man, let me tell you, these past few weeks have been some of the toughest of my life. Your boy was hit with sepsis, and it nearly killed me. Had it not been for my 13-year-old daughter, it probably would have. Now, y'all know me. I've been faced with some battles in my life, but nothing like this. I'm still here because the grace of God still wants me to be here. And the support I get from all of y'all, that all helps out a whole lot. Now, I kind of feel a little responsibility to use my platform to raise some awareness to this thing we call sepsis. Because, like me, people don't even know what sepsis is until it's too late. That's why I've decided to support the Sepsis Alliance. And I'm asking you to stand with me in a Ronnie strong movement. Yeah, buddy. So I'm gonna let God use me as he has done my whole entire life, because not once did I ask to be here, and not once am I gonna ask to leave here. God brought me here, and God is gonna have me to leave here when it's time for me to go. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight, baby. Y'all know, like I know, that it still ain't nothing but a peanut. And now it means just a little bit more. What's up, everybody? It's your boy.
All right, guys, you heard it there from Ronnie Coleman. Ben Askren. Ben Askren hasn't really been talking about staph infection. Maybe he should talk about staph infection when he can. You heard it from Randleman. Kevin Randleman talked about it. So, take care of yourselves. Do what you can to stay healthy as much as you can. I actually just got an update. I be updating the show. Does anybody else do a live show where they update it? Just got to update. The Arma BJJ is in business, man. They're not in business yet, but it's looking like they will be in business soon. So check out their schedule here. Can you guys see their schedule? Yeah, move it over. Why is my head so big on here? Why is my head the biggest thing on this thing right here? Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see if I crop this guy. Where'd that crop at? Okay, let me crop here, right? Ooh, we almost there. Let me put 100 on there. Okay. There we go. Gennaro Ayala. The Moneyberg roast has been cracking me. Yeah, Moneyberg. Good old Moneyberg. I do like saying Moneyberg. I like saying his name. Moneyberg gonna profit off of us somehow because he's smarter than us. And he makes more money than us. So he's gonna profit off of us somehow. Yeah. Good old Moneyberg. Thanks for bringing that up, man. I think we're gonna talk about him for a second today. We ain't gonna talk about him too much though. So we got Arma BJJ. If you guys know, that's where Fion's gonna be teaching, and they got the classes. So if you guys look, it says Fion Davies gonna be teaching 8 classes a week over there. So if you got the money, you got the 270 was it 270 euros, 230 euros a month to go train over there. I might take a private lesson though. Sam Gibson, you got Egan O'Flanagan. He's going to teach 2.5-hour masterclass monthly. Okay, that's not terrible. A little masterclass. Taylor Perriman, 2 classes. Anna Lopez. Stuart Cooper. He's going to be teaching 15 classes a week over there. He must be teaching those morning classes. Stuart Cooper. If you guys don't know Stuart Cooper, he's the dude that did all the videos back in the day. All those documentaries and stuff. That was him. You got Shane Fishman teaching 2 classes a week. Nia gonna be there 2 times a week too. How much they getting paid over there? I hope they getting paid. That's a lot of classes. Maybe some of those will be classes together. We'll see. You're gonna have Tariq over there, quarterly guest seminar, and Tommy Lankiker, quarterly guest seminar. So you're gonna have the Norwegians coming through. So pretty awesome to see that, It says this is phase 1 of the schedule, primarily utilizing just the one mat space. Fion and Sam's classes to increase to 15 classes per week as the timetable increases. So I don't really know who that Sam Gibson is, but they're going to add more classes with them. So it seems like Fion, Sam Gibson, and Stuart Cooper are going to be the main instructors, and then they're going to have other people to come through as well. So we'll see how that works. And they got the space going on, man. Look at that space. It looks nice. Let me go back. That looks nice. Looks just like the mock-up. Looks cozy. When you're in the UK and it's raining on you and it's gloomy, you want a cozy space. That looks pretty cozy. Oh, it's from Fion too. That's 270 euros or something, 230 euros a month. Gonna have the strength and conditioning area going down too. Looks nice. You can do your lifts, your cleans and presses. Olympic lifting over there. Shout out to Fion. What's up, girl? Fion, can I get a private lesson? Respectfully though. So yeah, Arma's coming out. I don't know what the price is over there. That's Stuart Cooper, if you guys didn't know who Stuart Cooper is. Egan, Fion. We got All I See Is Gold. Jordan Burroughs, he got long post. He says, beyond the technique, you guys can't even see it. Move it over there. Beyond the technique and the toughness is a layer of humanity that we oftentimes forget. Athletes grow best when there isn't just a challenge, but also connection. Community is what makes wrestling stick. After a long day of hard work and beating each other up, they got to fill their bellies to the brim with s'mores. Big smiles gathered with their buddies around the fire. So, Jordan started wrestling at like 5 years old, so he understands, what kids, he remembers what it was like being a kid and doing wrestling and the community. So, he ain't over there yelling at the kids. He over there making memories with the kids. He says, these are the moments that they'll remember. This is how you keep them coming back. Besides, sprints and push-ups are overrated. Marshmallows are much better. That's awesome, man. So, if you want your kids to wrestle or do judo or do jiu-jitsu, you got to make it fun for them. Don't make it a place where they, they're anxious and scared. Make it somewhere fun and make those memories with them. Look at these kids. They got the fires, they got the snacks. They ready, bro. They can't wait to come back next year for the wrestling camp. And they get to hang out with their hero, Jordan Burroughs. Man, they love that stuff. So we did talk about some of the flooding. This is New York. Maybe I'll show New Jersey, but this is New York. I can't play that music. So they have flooding on their they have flooding on the on the subway. It was bad, man. It was a flash flood too, guys. Nobody could really prepare for this. So yeah, hopefully everybody's safe. That looks terrible, bro. That ain't no clean water either, guys. That water, somebody pee-peed in that water. Who pee-peed in that water? Well, the pee-pee was already in the subway, and that just mushed it up. I spread it out. Can I send this to Tony? Let me send this to Tony over here. Can you guys see that? Where Tony at? Let me see if I can find some of the Jersey flooding we had over here. Let's see if it'll come up. I don't see mine over here. Let me find this for you guys. Where's the Jersey playing field? There we go.
What the hell? No, I want it for me. Woo!
Says funny. It's funny. It's all funny till it's your car being swept away and somebody you love gets hurt. That's true. Well, your car is ruined at that point. You got cars underwater. It was bad, guys. Let me play one more. Where is this? Route 22 over here. Flooding. Yeah, flooding inside some of the buildings. Says the irony of flooding on the very day Governor Murphy announced his rollback to the New Jersey Pact real flood protection regulations. Wow. I don't know if anybody passed away from this. I mean,
we decided to take a stand against gun violence, and
no surprise if it did. So, hopefully everybody's safe out there, man. It was been bad. We had a little bit of flooding in the basement, but it was okay. Moving on, we got ADCC official. It says the first ever ADCC U.S. Nationals is going down on August 9th in Las Vegas. So this will be probably the week after, maybe a week or two. I think it's a week after CJI and Masters Worlds. This event is worth 50% more points towards the 25-26 season. So if you guys want to do that, go ahead. Just make sure you got good health insurance before you go. It might be, I'm not going to go out there, but you guys go out there. We got Coach Cal. So we talk about training labs a little bit. This is the guy, all your favorite MMA fighters will go to train with. Can't play that music. But he's got all the facilities. He got the hyperbaric chamber. They got the red light. They got everything. So your favorite fighters be over there training with him. Your favorite wrestlers be over there too. They got everything. So recovery, they push really hard, but they take the recovery pretty seriously too. So that's pretty awesome. Got the oxygen. Bro, I need some oxygen. Got another tank over there. I don't even know what that is. You got the setup. You can sit there and watch your matches. That's pretty awesome. I don't know how much money that costs. That got to cost a lot of money. And I think it's just for their athletes. I'm not sure how much it costs to work with training labs. That's awesome. Recovery is important, guys. So we had one of the person on the chat. They mentioned Moneyberg. So we got Big Dan. I'm a little. I like Big Dan, but yeah, he's in Moneyberg's pocket. So not much I can say. That's a lot of your favorite grapplers are in that pocket. A lot of your favorite grapplers, they can't pay their bills without Moneyberg. They can't. Moneyberg give you a new truck, you got to do what Moneyberg tell you to do. If Moneyberg got you a new truck, you're going to do exactly what Moneyberg wants you to do. Big Dan, that's Big Dan right there. You got Gilbert Burns over there. I'm a little sad by Gilbert Burns too, but he got CTE, so he probably don't know what he's doing. Big Dan says excited to be training BJJ black belt Derek Moneyberg this week. Isn't Big Dan a purple belt? Not only is Big Dan a purple belt, but he's teaching Moneyberg, who's a black belt now. And Moneyberg messed up his belt tie. Moneyberg he making us upset on purpose. Someone said, "Is that belt tie purposeful rage bait or what?" Yep, for sure. Says I don't know what you're talking. Well, Big Dan don't know how to tie his belt either. Genius. How does this guy compare to BJ Penn and Kyle Terra? He doesn't. Yeah, eating the popcorn. Ooh, I want some popcorn. Moneyberg says, thank you, Dan and Gilbert, for teaching me the proper way to tie my belt. Forever grateful for this tutelage. So, Moneyberg's just smarter than us. He's thinking 5 steps ahead. It's a big joke. That's jiu-jitsu right at this point. It's all a big joke, right? Everything's a big joke. I don't really necessarily agree with all of this stuff, but it's just a big joke. Everything's a big joke. The black belt's a joke. The training is a joke. It's all a big joke. That's what you guys gotta learn. It's a big joke. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but the biggest people in the sport are kind of like this. And the people you never hear about, they don't even talk about it. They just live their lives and do whatever they're gonna do. But to me, this is just a big joke. It's a bad joke, and the joke's on the whole sport. So I don't know, Big Dan. Big Dan and Gilbert. That shows you how they think about this sport. It's a joke to them. I don't care how good someone is at jiu-jitsu, but if it's a joke to them, all the training, the years of experience, I'm not going to say lineage, but, just the hard work that people put in to get their black belt. It's just a joke. And Big Dan don't even have a black belt. Gilbert Burns, he don't even train. He just does MMA now. He got CTE. So, these guys, they just care about money, They don't care about martial arts. They just care about the money, really. If you cared about martial arts, you wouldn't give Moneyberg a black belt. You wouldn't make a joke of it. You would be defending jiu-jitsu. You would be defending your sport. But money does talk. Money can make people change. Moneyberg. They in Moneyberg's pocket. I'm not though. I'm not in Moneyberg's pocket, guys. Says how much you get paid. $2,500 per Craig Jones. Yeah, these people they sell themselves out. They'll sell their sport out. They'll sell their martial art out for $2,500. So I mean, even Jesus got sold out, right? How much silver did Jesus get betrayed for? So I guess I can't be too harsh. Jesus over there got betrayed for a couple silver coins. It'd be some of your best friends over here. You're like, man, this guy's an upright dude. I like this dude. He sold out for $2,500. He might sell you out for $50, $5. I don't know. Yeah, so it's a big joke. And I feel like the more into the future we go into, the more of a joke it becomes. Unfortunately. Someone says it shows that BJJ does not pay enough if its top athletes are willing to get paid to advertise someone selling investment secrets. This is why our community shouldn't idolize these guys. Sure, they're high-level competitors, no substance, morals, or values. Just practice for yourself and don't expect much from these guys. The only issue is that these guys have a lot of, they have a lot of pull in this community. New people might know who Moneyberg is, and they might not know who a really good instructor is or a really good competitor is. Jiu-jitsu doesn't pay like other sports. It makes sense. Even the top guys are folding like lawn chairs for the bag. Everyone is out there grabbing the bag and tossing their morals aside. They never had morals. Sad to see. These guys, you see the money. They can't see nothing else but the money. They got the money sign in their eyeballs. The money can't be worth your value. Well, that makes too much sense. You understand that little bit of money, that $2,500, that little truck, that's all. That ain't gonna last forever. You're I don't want to say your image, your reputation. That reputation gonna stick with you for the rest of your life, though. Moneyberg says 3 facts about anyone hating on my belt. Self-loathing. The number one thing a hater hates is himself. You know what, Moneyberg? We need you to turn that around into yourself. Number 2 is mad that I am also very successful at everything else I ever focused on in my life. Easier for him to deny reality than accept the pain of their own shortcomings. Why is he deflecting? Haters pee sitting down. This is not to disparage women. Well, you just did. Who also pee sitting down. But nearly all haters are weak men, and this is one of the many ways they present their femininity. So, I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to get upset over it. I be laughing at Moneyberg. He a joke to me. While they are over here making a joke of a sport that I love, they all a joke to me. And I like Big Dan. I like Gilbert Burns as athletes, but they show you where they stand. That's good. I rather they show me where they stand than to be, doing some other stuff behind my back. At least they let you know where they stand. So if you guys choose to keep supporting those kind of people, go ahead. This live stream ain't for you. Go ahead and get off the live stream then. You go to Big Dan's live stream. Who just texted me? We got Owen Jones. Aren't you supposed to be in Atlanta, bro? My man everywhere but Atlanta. Let me send this to my boy Christian real fast. Where are you at, Christian? We got J Flow. Is there music on this? Let's see. My man J Flow too smooth. He says wrestling takedowns equal winning positions in no-gi jiu-jitsu. The ability to dictate where the fight takes place is a game changer. Whether it's a well-timed and slick snap down or a pressure from the clinch, wrestling gives you the tools to control the pace, positioning, and momentum from the start. In no-gi, where speed matters, a strong wrestling foundation leads to dominant entries, better top control, and more submission opportunities. Train smart, stay on top. J Flow, man, I wish J Flow was younger. We got a meet and greet with Yue Sasaki. I'm a huge fan. What's up, girl? I want to take a wrestling clinic with her, respectfully. If you guys don't know Yue Sasaki, she is Olympic champion from 2020, and I believe bronze medalist in 2024. So that's pretty awesome to see her. I keep telling you guys and girls that the female wrestling is growing. It's growing. So if you have any daughters or nieces or whoever, go push them to wrestle. So that's awesome.
Somebody else about cats. They're shaving his beard. That guy's clearly bored. He needs a mat.
We got a dude that just won Miami ADCC Open. He over here calling out Andy Varela. It got music on here, so I can't play that, but might be kind of cool to see. Varela's pretty busy. He not only is he doing CJI, is he doing CJI too? Well, he's doing UFC BJJ next week or 2 weeks. I don't know when exactly, but he gonna be fighting Tackett. Oh, he already fought Tackett. My bad, he already fought Tackett. Didn't go too well. Is Varela fighting again though? Yeah, he already lost to Tackett. He's doing PGF and some other stuff though. He'll be okay. Yeah, he already lost to Tackett. We got Dana White showing off his office. So all that money, this is where all that money goes.
Never have to leave.
So none of the fighters can afford this, but Dana White can. So that's just life, man. Dana White is another Moneyberg. He over there got about $20 million in that office. Knowing full well them UFC fighters, they ain't made no $20 million. So yeah, that's just life, man. People like Moneyberg and Dana White, they're just better than us, right? They're just smarter than us. They have a higher IQ. That's why they're so successful. Not because they take advantage of people, and I don't say they scam people, but they take advantage of people. Someone said fighters make 10K on the undercard, by the way, and Dana White, he got millions of dollars in that office right there, just in the build out. Some people make more money than others. That's the point. When you're on top, when you're on the come up, trying to prove yourself on a starting contract, novice take, you got to prove yourself. I mean, Dana White ain't ever fought a day in his life. Yeah, he profit off every fighter. So whenever people are like, you got to prove yourself, well, you still got to make money. Says, yeah, he should pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars so they won't starve. They won't strive. But some should get paid more than 10K. I mean, whenever people talk about fighters, they're like, they usually don't have a good take on it. I'm all for fighters getting paid what they're worth. And we see that because the UFC keeps losing these lawsuits because they didn't pay their athletes. But the UFC rather fight a lawsuit and give you less money than to just pay you properly outright. It's their choice to be in the UFC. While that might be true, the UFC is a monopsony. There's no more. Who else is in the right now? Is the UFC PFL, 1 championship. You got 3 choices. They won't have a job if it wasn't for him. I mean, anybody could do Dana White's job. They could do it for less money. And who's forcing them to take on the contract? So realistically, I mean, I wish the fighters would band together, but they look at people like Gilbert Burns over here. They're gonna do whatever it takes to make that little bit of money. They're never gonna band together. They're never gonna work together. We can't work together in jiu-jitsu. People be fighting against their best interest all the time. They should leave and start their own fight organization so they can have offices like this. Which you can't do because there's monopsonies. You're gonna you won't be able to compete. You go out of business before you get to that point. I don't know. I'm not sure what the future of jiu-jitsu is going to be, or MMA. Maybe we should all just go wrestle or something. That might be a better move. Moving forward, we got Isaac Dodeline. He says clear frames and create angles for your passing. If you guys don't know, Isaac got really great passing, especially for featherweight. Some of the best passing in the game. What's going on over here? All my tabs. I don't have as many tabs now. Give me 1 second, guys. Can't play that music, but you see how Isaac uses the angles to help him fight, get better frames, push off the frames. And then, you got to move side to side. That's that's the basics of martial arts. Get out the middle. Get out the center. Always try to get to the side of your opponent. Now we just got to make sure my man Isaac learns how to tap out the arm bars. He over here getting his arm dislocated left and right, which is not good. So, awesome movement by Isaac. Maybe Isaac should just stay in the gi for a while. The no gi didn't go too well. He actually beat Kokorian. But he's busy. He's got a school. He's got a new school. He's got babies, got a wife. He's busy. He need to be focused on working. Shout out to my boy James over there. Moving forward, we got Buchecha. If you clicked on this YouTube video, you must have seen Buchecha on that thumbnail. Buchecha opens up about almost retiring due to exclusive MMA contracts. So, he went from 1 championship exclusive contract to UFC exclusive contract. So when people were like, well, you just go fight for a different organization, you can't even leave your organization because they put you in these terrible contracts. It's a bad business. MMA is a bad business. It just doesn't make any sense, And most people aren't ever going to be a UFC champion or one FC champion. There's no more Bellator, and they're for sure not going to be a PFL champion. So I think fighting, if you're really great, it can be a way to make, some life-changing money, but you're gonna be corrupted. Your morals. They're gonna have you doing the podcast with Moneyberg. What's up, Ryan? They're gonna have you doing the podcast with Moneyberg, looking like a hostage. Daddy Dana gonna talk down to you and do whatever he wants to you. No, did he? Or maybe did he? It's just a bad industry, man. Slap fight's terrible. Boxing's still kind of okay. You make more money fighting YouTubers. Like all these guys working so hard, you can make more money boxing a YouTuber. You don't even need to fight. You don't need to fight for real. You can have a little exhibition match. Well, Bellator is gone, or it got bought out. Either or. There's some smaller organizations that are doing okay, but it's just this whole industry is just terrible. You're not gonna make as much money as you should. You know, predatory contracts, exclusive contracts. You know, it's just messed up, man. You're better off live streaming or doing some other kind of content, to be honest, nowadays. That's why all them UFC girls, they got OnlyFans, because they make more money on the OnlyFans than they do from fighting. Marcus Buchecha Almeida has been on a strong run in MMA, but he recently revealed that. Can I get this in closer for you guys? I messed up my article reading. I messed it up. We're gonna just keep it like that. He recently revealed that the road hasn't been as smooth as it may have appeared. In fact, the grappling legend considered retiring altogether due to the restrictive nature of MMA contracts. The issue, which has been widely criticized in recent years, revolves around long-term exclusive contracts and post-contract matching clauses, agreements that can keep fighters tied to promotions even after fulfilling their original obligations. Buchecha's own journey is a textbook example of this frustrating system. Ryan says, still want to see DJ destroy Bradley Martin. Demetrius Johnson? If they pay him, well, they could just do that on YouTube. Set that up like a little sparring on YouTube. Or maybe just do some jiu-jitsu. That might work really well. After signing with One Championship in 2020, Buchecha spent over 3 years and 6 fights with the organization. He shared with MMA Fighting just how difficult it was to complete that contract and eventually walk away from the promotion. It was hard to get out of that contract, but we did it. I went there and was a man of my word, signed a 6-fight contract and did all my 6 fights and left through the front door. But now, as you said, I'm free. I'm excited to fight. It's been a while since I entered a fight without all that stress in the backstage. Many people only see what happens when you step into the ring or cage and fight, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Well, you guys, it's up to the fighters to talk more about this. Fighters, you gotta be more open about your contracts. I know there might be stipulations you can't talk about, but once your contract's over, you can warn other fighters, hey, don't go to so-and-so. Hey, don't go to that. Don't fight for that organization. I mean, the sad thing is there's only 3 organizations. So, you know, if you want to fight MMA, you're screwed. There's no competition. America's all about, you know, competition in business, but there is no competition in MMA. You can go PFL, One Championship, or you go UFC. You got 3 choices in the world, basically. There might be some smaller organizations, but, you know, let's be honest. There's 3 major organizations, and realistically, there's 2. There's One Championship, and there's UFC. So it's just like it ain't right. Ryan says, when it comes to BJJ heavyweights transitioning to MMA, who do you think has or had the edge, Buchecha or Hodger? I'm gonna go with Buchecha. He's a little bit more athletic than Hodger. Hodger was more technical. But, you know, I don't think his game really carried over. Buchecha, he's more wrestling-based. He's more athletic, so he can get away with a lot more. And he carries more bulk. You know, he's more bulky, so he can take more damage. And, you know, he's just younger. Yeah, I got to say Buchecha. Buchecha's still fighting. Hodger was like, fought a little bit, and then he was like, I'm done. I don't think, was Hodger, he wasn't in the UFC. He was in Bellator. Yeah, I got to go Buchecha because, you know, he's a little bit more versatile, wrestling-based, more athletic, bigger in size. So I think he's going to do a little bit better. Says, it's a lot of stress. It's bad for my mental health of the athlete. It's bad for the mental health of the athlete. I've had bad days, but now it's all about the past. It's all in the past. There's only good things coming ahead. The mental and emotional toll was so heavy that Buchecha even thought about walking away from the sport entirely. It crossed my mind many times to retire because I couldn't take it no more. That was killing me inside, not having a fight and not being able to fight. When you have a contract like that, not only with that organization, when you can't even fight in other sports. In this case, imagine me being unable to even compete in jiu-jitsu. That was something that bothered me a lot. Well, Buchecha, you signed that contract. Why would you sign a contract that just handicapped you, you know? Quan, what's up, bro? Hodger did fight in UFC? Okay. Strikeforce UFC and ONE FC. Okay, cool. Yeah, I might be wrong. Buchecha's still fighting, so he still got time to prove himself. Hodger, I just remember Hodger fighting like Tim Kennedy. Who else did Hodger fight? Did he fight Randleman? No, he didn't fight Randleman. He fought who else did Hodger fight? You guys do the research for me. They don't read the fine. Yeah, I mean, bro, you have to. I would have been, hey, Buchecha, don't sign this contract. Or hey, can we negotiate? Okay, can he compete in jiu-jitsu? Maybe 4 fights instead of 6. You know, there's workarounds. You know, you guys gotta. That's the issue. A lot of these guys, you know, they don't get an education. I'm not saying education will always protect you, but if anything, your education should teach you to ask some questions. But not always. Yeah. Hodger beat Randleman. Okay, look, I remember a couple of fights. He fought Tim Kennedy in UFC, then got fired when he lost by decision. Tim Kennedy was good. Well, I mean, UFC will cut the best grappler in the world. I mean, if they'll cut Hodger, they'll cut anybody. So you guys got to realize that UFC don't care about you. So Buchecha going for one championship to UFC ain't better. Give Buchecha a couple of fights. He's gonna be like, man, the UFC is terrible too, man. Just come back to jiu-jitsu, bro. Come back to jiu-jitsu, Buchecha. Even after completing all 6 of his contracted fights, Buchecha had to wait out the matching period, a window of time in which his former promotion had the right to match any competing offers. He says, after I finished my contract, after I did all 6 fights, I had to wait that matching period, which every contract has, but I already knew what I wanted, that I didn't want to re-sign with them, and I knew there would be something out there for me when the contract ended. So I did a camp focused on the contract deadline. I knew it would be a matter of time. It has taken 8 months, but I knew I would be free after 8 months. And signing with the UFC, which was my desire and my dream, I knew the UFC would get me to fight quickly. Well, UFC trying to set him up too. They got Buchecha. Buchecha's 5-1. He's fighting a dude 15-2. So UFC ain't really looking out for you, bro. They trying to get you out of there too. Not for nothing, my contract ended now, and I'm already fighting later this month. It's been a dream for me. When they said the UFC wanted to sign me, I said, I don't even want to know when and against who. Get me a fight. You should have been like, let me look at that contract, bro. Buchecha. He says he's fighting a ranked guy. He's tough. He's a veteran in the UFC because he already has 7 fights and 6 wins there. So he's very tough. Oh, so in UFC he's only 7. Yeah, but that's not the full story. He's 15-2. He's not 7-2. He's 15-2. He has a lot of experience, way more than me in the sport, but I'm driven by challenges. I'm sure this will be the biggest challenge of my career so far, but I'm excited. So, the fact that the UFC is throwing a killer at him, they setting him up. They want him to fail, to be honest. Let's be honest here.
Passou pela minha cabeça inúmeras
That's
vezes.
in Portuguese. Ryan says TK is a disgrace, but that's another topic. Tim Kennedy. Well, yeah. Stolen Valor for another day. He's tough though. He's tough. He's tough. I seen him. I seen him grapple a little bit. He's tough and strong. Once you go to UFC, you ain't got no more morals. Quan, how you feeling about your boy Craig Jones? I know Quan was shedding a tear. Craig Jones switches up the formula for CJI2 with team grappling format. Didn't we know that already? So we talked a lot about it yesterday, Quan. I don't know if we'll talk about it today, but Craig Jones leaving B team. Quan says, I think the UFC just has a ton of good fighters. Yeah, well, he got his cousin over there. Just because you're famous doesn't mean they give you cans to fight. Everyone in UFC is world class. Not everybody. A lot of people are world class. You got some crazy dudes in there too. But let's be honest. If UFC really cared about about Buchecha, they would have given him someone closer in skill. They don't want him there. They don't want him there. They wouldn't give him a dude 15-2. Got 3 times as many fights as you. If they cared about you, they wouldn't do that to you. So UFC will pick their favorites. They will protect some dudes. At least initially. Eventually, everybody gonna fight everybody. Hopefully, but Craig Jones has enacted a major format shift for the second edition of Craig Jones Invitational. After the massive success of the inaugural event, Jones has opted to abandon the solo tournament, we know that, in favor of a team-based rule set, a move that sparked a wave of both support and skepticism from the grappling community. The switch to team grappling might seem like a radical departure for Jones, but the decision was calculated and intentional. He says, for me, it was about growing the sport. Excuse me. And I'd always planned knowing full well that it was going to be mimicked in some capacity by other people in the industry. To the extent that it has been, that was surprising. I think that's a testament to the success of the first event, but I always wanted to do something different for the second event. Quan says, my cousin fights this month on the 26th, on the same card? Is that the same card, Quan? Are they fighting in Qatar or Middle East somewhere? And when we were at the Performance Institute, he was seeing everyone there as a potential opponent. Which kind of, yeah, I understand it. Everybody's your opponent, But you can't do this stuff alone. You need teammates. You need training partners. I think you're like Ryan Hall. He always worked with like Ton and what's the other guy? What's the other UFC guy he works with? I can't remember his name right now. And he says, at the end of the day, they have champions from Bellator and one come in and give them mid-tier and sometimes no-name athletes in UFC, and the UFC guy wins. That's true. Like, who else were they going to give Buchecha? I don't know. Somebody to help him make a statement? I don't know. I don't know who's on their roster, but I could have. If the matchmakers have so much power, they can. Hey, we like this Buchecha guy. Let's give him this dude that can't grapple. Let's give him a dude that just same record. There's things they could have done, Quan. I believe they're setting up Buchecha. They don't want Buchecha in there. Says the guy they gave Buchecha is probably one of the lowest level guys in the heavyweight division. 15-2 though, Quan. 15-2. I'm just looking at the record. They got some other dudes in there that don't need to be in there, Quan. Let me pull up all the heavyweights, Quan. I could pick somebody better for Buchecha. I bet if Mikey was fighting, they would give Mikey somebody good. just saying everyone in the UFC are people at the top of the world. Yeah, they got some good people there. You got people like Kayla Harrison over there. Kayla, I wish judo treated Kayla better. She shouldn't be fighting in the UFC. Kayla Harrison should be she should be like the figurehead of USA Judo. They got Derek Lewis who has a bad record. Yeah, throw Derek Lewis might knock out Buchecha though. Things ain't looking too good for Buchecha. I'm gonna have my fingers crossed for him. The UFC does have good talent, It does have good talent. Heavyweight's just kind of always been a mixed bag too, though. I don't want to read this anymore. Oh, let's read this part. It says for the third event, I don't want to read that. Quintet for someone that doesn't train will have the most appeal. It's the chaos. It could be a small guy against a big guy, and it's really the goal for this event. So, Quan has to defend UFC guys. His cousin's in the UFC. He's got to defend them. I don't like the UFC, so I don't really. Ryan says Boudet isn't too shabby. I'm definitely rooting for Buchecha. Man, they setting Buchecha up, bro. Where can I find the UFC heavyweight roster? I can't spell. Quan says I'm rooting for Buchecha. I root for Rodolfo also. He's also doing good. He only lost once or twice in UFC. We're gonna look for some fighters that he could have. Who's over here? John Jones. He's in heavyweight. Derek Lewis. He got 28-12. Quan, let's look for somebody with a similar record over here. Okay, there's Martin Baddies Boudet. He ranked 16. Why are you giving Buchecha someone ranked 16, Quan? So especially after the Dana stealing the CGI layout and approach. They stole everything except for how to run it properly. They messed up. I don't want to talk about UFC BJJ now. Look, they could have gave him number 19. Robles, the big boy, Despaney, 5-2. Same record, Quan. They couldn't give that dude the. Actually, he got a lot of technical knockouts though. How many does the other dude have? 16. Decision. Okay, it might not be too bad. He got one technical knockout in 2023. Otherwise, decision. All right, Buchecha, might be possible. The dude with the same record as Buchecha, probably don't fight that dude. He got nothing but technical knockouts. Oh, but he's kind of older though. Oh, never mind. Decision. Maybe could have given him this guy. You got Waldo Salsa Boy, 14-1. Dang, yeah, don't give him that guy. You got Justin Badman Taffa. Okay, 7-5. All right, Quan. That should have been the guy Buchecha was fighting. Quan. How about Pavlovich? Where's Pavlovich at? I don't see him on here. Listen, this the guy that Buchecha need to be fighting. The 7-5 guy. Quan. I think they're giving Buchecha like the easiest fight they could give him. This is the easy fight right here, Quan. 7-5 right here, Quan. That's yeah, you had TKO in 2025 though. You got Andre the Pitbull. Andre Arlovsky is still fighting. My man, 34-24. They could have gave him Arlovsky. Nah, Quan. There's some other fighters he could have fought. Man, just go down the roster, Quan. They could have gave him some better fights. He could have fought. He shouldn't fight Stipe. He could have fought Dontel Mays. I'm going down. Taffa can fight. Where's Taffa at? I don't keep up with UFC guys. Oh, Taffa. All right, don't give him that guy then. Yeah, don't give him Beast Boy. I'm going down. I'm trying to help Buchecha win, Quan. How many of his opponents' fights are in UFC or in local MMA circuits? I don't know. I'm not going to do all that research. It's possible. I mean, all of Buchecha's fights are from one championship, but sometimes they weren't fighting nobody who won. They were fighting some crazy dudes and won. Some of these high amount fights could be locals. That's true. All this to say that there were some other people they probably could have put him against. That's all I'm trying to say, Quan. So he went from, whoever's 42 ranked all the way to 16 rank. I don't know, man. I don't know all the fighters. If I was the matchmaker or if I was Buchecha's dude, I would be, trying to pick some better matches. I wouldn't be like, hey, UFC, just throw whoever you want at us. He has a better record than some UFC champs, but doesn't mean he deserves a championship fight. I'm not saying he deserves a championship fight. I'm thinking he deserves a fair shot to prove his skills. A fair shot. This guy, I believe he's 7 and get out of here. I believe he's 7-2. 7 and what's his record in the UFC? It doesn't say. He's only made $24,000 in the UFC? Wait a second. I don't know, bro. And none of these guys get paid enough, Quan. He's 6-1 in the UFC. There we go. He's 5-0. He's 1-0 in the Contender Series. What is this? He had 5 local wins, and he's 6-1 in UFC. So, okay, his record is pretty comparable to Buchecha's. Says if they're trying to set him up, they could find way better opponents. Have him fight Chris Barnett, the dude who injured his leg before the scrap he was. Buchecha is getting a fair shot as anyone who wants to get in UFC. Yeah, maybe. Now that I see his UFC record, it maybe might be more accurate. 6-1 versus 5-1. It looks a little bit more even now. But then you got to go and see who he fought. He won a decision versus. Did he win the decision versus Andrei Arlovski? Yeah, I don't know these guys. Chris Barnett's right there. You won a decision. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stick to jiu-jitsu, guys. That's what I know. I don't know UFC. So it seems, I don't know. He does have more experience, though, Quan. We'll see. That's all we can do is see. Regardless, all these guys need to get paid more. Can you fight me on that one, Quan? Nope. Craig Jones, US Tour gym pitch. Craig's touring the U.S. for one last ride and visiting jiu-jitsu gyms along the way. I saw him post about potentially coming to West Virginia on his Instagram story. And seeing as I live in West Virginia, I thought maybe I could throw a pitch to get him to come to my gym / neck of the woods. I obviously sent him a DM on Instagram. Why would he ain't answering those DMs? But I doubt he checks the DMs from the plebeians. I also figured this thread could be a place for other people to post their gym pitches. He don't want to go to your little gym, bro. He don't want to go to your little gym. It says, yeah, BJJ all the way. I don't know MMA. I don't even follow MMA that closely. Craig ain't going to your little gym, bro. He was at Standard Jiu-Jitsu in VA, so maybe there's a chance. He just, he hitting that algorithm. He visiting different areas so he can hit the algorithm, different areas. Just mentioning different areas means you pop up. You're gonna in the search results. You might pop up in different feeds. Shout out to Globetrotters. They did a little seminar, a big seminar actually, in Copenhagen. So that's the place I train at sometimes, Spring Jiu-Jitsu. They actually still owe me some money. They still owe me some money from like last year. I probably won't ever get that money. But yeah, Globetrotters, huge shout out to, that's the Gregory, I can't say his name, but shout out to Panda Nation. You see Panda Nation right there, guys? Shout out to Panda Nation right here. We got the pandas, the actual pandas. You got Nelly and Hillary. Let's see if anybody else I know. Thomas. Shout out to Thomas. If you guys know Thomas, he my dude over there in Copenhagen. I don't know anybody else, I don't think. And bro, in Europe they be having the ladies over there representing. Shout out to all the ladies training. You know, just having a good time, man. That's awesome, bro. Ryan says, Globetrotters always put on a good stuff. Yeah, man. I mean, people just want to have a good time. These camps are always amazing. I've been trying to go to that the one in Iceland, but no go. And you know, they do different camps too. Maybe one day I'll get to Iceland. I've been to Iceland once, but just layover. It says, people in LA and SoCal, how much are you guys paying for your gym? Seems like he was priced $275 a month for unlimited classes. So that's kind of standard for LA, bro. Chris, yeah. You know, Globetrotters, they try to do a good thing, and you know, especially with you know, when you compete for IBJJF, you need, you know, you got to represent a team, and Globetrotters for a period was letting people compete under their team. So if you didn't have a coach that was, you know, had the 2 stripes or 3 stripes, or wasn't in the, you know, IBJJF portal, membership, whatever, you could compete under BJJ Globetrotters, but they kind of took that away, I believe. If you're training in LA, bro, you're gonna pay $185, $200, $220 downtown Atlanta. Who charging? Oh, downtown LA. Okay, whew. $220, yeah. You know, if you go to Atos or ALJ, $350, bro. $300, $350, $250. And people be complaining about $150. You go to Europe, you lucky if you can charge $60, $50. You might be able to only charge $40, $30 in Europe. You go to Alliance in London, $280. Yeah, Jesus, 280 euros. It's about the same in dollars. I think Fion School is expensive too. 230 euros. So if you want to do jiu-jitsu, you gotta have money, bro. This ain't a sport for poor people. You know, you want a new gi? You know, Quan only like the best show you roll in AP gis. 200, 150 to 200 easy right there. Ryan says Jay Pages did a pretty badass Iceland camp a while back. Yeah. I've done a couple camps in Sweden, but nowhere in other parts of Europe though. So yeah, you want to train, man? It's so expensive, bro. Yeah, I don't care about the Andy Varela. We talked about that before. We did talk about a little bit about Jax Forrest. So he's a high schooler that just he beat my boy Vito. Oh, I'm sad. Parsons says BJJ gyms ain't cheap here either in the Bay Area. Oh yeah, I'm blessed to not have to pay. Yeah, but you know, I mean, how many people can't do jiu-jitsu because they can't pay? You know, they might be really skilled. They might be super athletic. super talented. Quan says, I'm broke boy now. Had to sell my... Oh, no, Quan, no. Oh, no, Quan. You had to sell your geese? Dang, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Dang, Quan. You going through it, bro. You sold all the shoyu rolls, bro? All the APs? Dang, Quan. My man Quan in love, he said, I gotta provide for my girl. You're a better man than me, Quan. I would have kept my geese. I would have kept my geese. Oh no. Quan, I would have kept my geese. I would have said, girl, I love you, but you gotta go. I gotta keep my gi. Quan got a family to provide for. He got dogs, girls. Well, not girl. Nah, Quan got two girls. He got the girl from that was on the Polaris. Quan got the girl in Vegas, and he got the European girl. I know how you be doing things, Quan. Ryan says, Quan Vu eBaying those AP and shoyu rolls must have been a gut punch. Geese and guns before your girl. Quan got two girls. He got the girl, the girl with the short hair, the blonde short hair. He got that girl. That was commentating for Polaris, and he got the girl at home. Quan said Quan got two girls. He said he got to sell the shoyu rolls. Oh, you got a couple still, Quan? Quan had a lot of geese though. How many geese did you have at your peak, Quan? How many AP and shoyu roll geese did you have? Before you started selling them off. While Quan is over there counting his shoyu roll geese, some of us ain't got no. Well, I can only wear panda geese right now. Quan, get that sponsor, homie. Yeah, Quan, do a collab, bro. I'm sure you or Spence could get a collab with AP easily. So talking about Jax Forrest, he's a high schooler. I think he's a junior or maybe a senior now, going to senior. So he just won 2 straight matches versus Vito. It's crazy. Can we pull that match up? We'll try to pull that match up real fast. It's not on. Oh, you see this? Oh no. It's Daddy Craig leaving leaving Nikki Ryan over here to watch the gym. Oh no. Look at that. That's pretty funny actually. Quan says I maybe like 15 to 20. So Quan had a lot of geese. His girl told him, did your girl tell you to sell them geese, or you decided to sell those geese, Quan? He says I still have about 5, give or take. What's Tony showing over there? Anyway, that's basically what's going on. Craig Jones leaving his family. You got Nikki Ryan over there taking care of Damian and Ethan, and Nikki Rod over there on the scooter. Nikki Ryan, rest in peace, the B Team versus New Wave era. Nikki Ryan is in the kitchen, barefoot, pregnant, and thriving. Sadly, his husband is going through a Hunter S. Thompson phase. Raised those simple men well, Nikki. That's pretty funny. Ryan says, dang, I have 2 right now. Both are beat the. I'm an old school Hyperfly, Hyperlight, and a Fuji Sapa. I do like that Fuji gi. I do like Fuji. I'm sponsored by Inverted Gear, but I do like a Fuji. I had a custom Fuji gi too. Oh, I wish I had it. I used to have a custom Fuji gi. Oh, I miss it. What's going on with some of these artworks? I do like the Moneyberg one, though. He just better than us. That's all. He just better than us. Fuji, yeah, I like Fuji. I love, I do like inverted gear. Game this is okay. Kings, I don't really like the cut anymore, but I used to like Kings. Shoei roll's okay. AP, I never had an AP gi. I leave those at Quan. VHTS is okay. I haven't tried those out yet. There's some good brands out there, man. There's some good brands out there. Let's look for Jack's Force. Oh, it's Flow. Flow Wrestling. They didn't have nothing about Jack's Force on here? Oh, here we go. We watched a little bit of this earlier. So it's crazy, man. These high schoolers be beating NCAA champions, world champions. So, watch out for those high schoolers. We got Russia versus USA wrestling. July 21st coming up. Might check that out. I like, as much as I like my USA guys, Luke Leidenhall, Seth Gross, all these guys. Man, it's going to be hard to beat those Russians. Gonna be hard to beat the Russians. We ain't got no more JBs like we used to. It says wrestling for peace. Where does it say that at? Wrestling, yeah, it says wrestling for peace. Got the Eagle versus the Bears. Shout out to them. This is going to be Russian propaganda attempting to make America okay with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I don't want to get into the politics. Let the people just wrestle, bro. They just want to wrestle. We don't throw politics in there. If anything, I gotta say wrestling's doing a better job than jiu-jitsu. Outside of the penetration state college, wrestling to me seems to be more pure. Don't go to Safe Sport. It's not pure if you go to Safe Sport. You're like, oh, what's going on with these wrestlers? But I think as a sport, it's more pure. You don't have no Moneybergs in wrestling. They did have the DuPont back in the day, if you guys watch Foxcatcher. But there's no DuPonts, there's no fake black belts, there's no I don't roll, I just do one-on-ones. There's no ducking. You just wrestle, bro. I love wrestling because of that. There's a little bit of politics. There is politics in wrestling. But, as far as just how people carry themselves, if you watch the wrestlers, they talk about the Bible, they talk about God, and they just want to wrestle. You go to jiu-jitsu, they're talking about nose beers, they're talking about gooning, everything degenerate, very, very degenerate. And, wrestling is more geared towards the youth sports, while jiu-jitsu is more geared towards 30-year-old dudes that are insecure, trying to cover something up. If I could go back to the past, I probably would focus on wrestling, because, jiu-jitsu to me is just you guys saw the Moneyberg. Quan says wrestling isn't lazy enough to grow like jiu-jitsu does. That's true, but jiu-jitsu growing into a weed though, bro. Not the one you smoke, like the one that's invasive. There ain't skipping warm-ups at wrestling, yeah. It's just in jiu-jitsu, people don't want to warm up. They don't want to do techniques. Imagine wrestlers saying, I don't want to do all this stuff. They can't say that. It's not possible. You know, you go to judo class, what do? You got to warm up. You go to wrestling class, you got to warm up. Jiu-jitsu class, they want to play games and talk about ecological. So I'm interested to see what the future is going to be. You know, I think in the future, everybody's going to be out of shape. They're going to have no cardio. They're not going to have any fundamentals. We're seeing that right now. You know, it's just I don't really agree with where the sport's going. I think sports like wrestling are going to stay more on like a right path. You know, it's because it is about competition, but you know, when people get older, they can't compete. They go into coaching. It's about giving back. Jiu-jitsu, you can't even wrestle. You can't even do jiu-jitsu in America without $200, $150 to $200 easy. What are you gonna do with your kids? You can't even afford to get your kids into jiu-jitsu. Whereas wrestling, all right, I mean, some of the clinics can be expensive, but you know, if they're wrestling for a local club and the local middle school or elementary school or high school team, man, you could do it for, you know, way cheaper. Ryan says, I went to the same high school as Dave and Mark. Awesome. Schultz? The Schultz brothers? It says, there ain't skipping warm-ups at wrestling. Yeah, I mean, because they understand you got to do the warm-up. One of my old platoon sergeants was on the All-Marine wrestling team. When he led PT, the workouts were way tougher than the standard routine, but we were in way better shape because of it. It was brutal but effective. That's true. Because they understand you got to prepare yourself to wrestle, you know? You got to be in condition. You got to have the cardio. You got to be able to weather that match. You got to be able to get through your periods. First period, second period. And potentially wrestle some more that day. It's only in jiu-jitsu people complain about everything. You know, wrestlers, they just suck it up. All right, I got to get through the warm-up. I got to get through the drill. I got to get through that. I got to get through that. Jiu-jitsu, people complaining left and right. I don't want to do no gi. I don't want to do gi. Man, I never heard people complain so much. All that to say that I think wrestling culture is better than jiu-jitsu culture. Jiu-jitsu culture, I will say jiu-jitsu is a little bit more welcoming to everybody, but you know, you still got to have some standards, guys. Talking about wrestlers and not being controversial, we got the Schultz. Yo. So you probably don't like Moneyberg either, then. DuPont number 2. And you know, we talking about wrestling. Wrestling does have controversy. We got Carter Sarachi. We covered this a couple days ago, but you know, he did get the Big Ten Male Athlete of the Year. And on the same day, he got a you know, suspension, little bit of suspension from Safe Sport. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says, holy, what a timeline. Suspended from USAW, USA Wrestling, and named NCAA Man of the Year in like 24 hours. Life ain't life crazy, bro. Says, what's crazier is that I think this award was announced the week all this stuff got alleged to, like the next day. Says, nah, I first heard the allegations last month in the 26th, the day he got finished leading a commuter camp my kid was in. Apparently, Bo Bartlett and his wife had been posting about it for a few weeks before that. Well, Bo had been talking about it since December, you know, making cases about it, reports about it. Pretty sure they had some time to reconsider if they had wanted to, which I think makes it even crazier. I remember being in a camp and the day after Gable was technician, the first round of accusations for him came out. Which Gable? It's sort of terrible this keeps happening. Which Gable is he talking about? Oh, which Gable is he talking? What is he talking about, Gable? The Gable versus Hyatt Hendrickson match was probably the greatest match I've ever seen, no lie, in terms of grappling wrestling. The one from the last NCAA finals. Someone says, can anyone give me a rundown of the accusations and how credible they seem? Well, I think he's suspended. Or just the allegations are up. So crazy. I worry about Penn State. They've had a lot of issues over the years. So the NCAA, yeah. Penn State having a lot of issues this year. Storaci, you had Aaron Brooks, you had Kyle Snyder, Braden Davis. That's about 4 dudes. That's 4 dudes this year. All got in trouble. So we'll see what goes on next year. I don't want to read that. I'm getting tired, guys. Best wrestling state, they're going to say Pennsylvania. PA, Ohio, New Jersey. PA, Ohio, Illinois, California, New Jersey. Don't sleep on California. That's where the Schultz brothers are from. PA, Lehigh Valley region. Oklahoma has a population. PA, you have Ohio, California, New Jersey. In the top tier. Second tier, you got Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Third tier, Iowa, Indiana, Oklahoma, New York. I don't know. It's subjective. I'm going to say PA. I'm going to say PA, NJ, CA. That's what I'm going to say.
What up, guys? So earlier this week,
let's listen to Jiu-Jitsu. This might be the only video we're going to watch. We did watch another video earlier. Thor versus Evan's back. We did watch Thor versus Achilles Hosha, but we're gonna watch Jiu-Jitsu talk about Moneyberg. Ryan says Stanford is legit team again. Yeah, Stanford's good. Is that where? That's not where. Stanford. Yeah. I don't know who wrestled for Stanford. I'm an East Coast guy, bro. New Jersey, PA, New York. I'm an East Coast wrestling guy.
the BJJ community was abuzz with this story about this internet guru fella getting his black belt in 3.5 years, joining the likes of people like BJ Penn, actually beating Gordon Ryan by a bit, who took 5 years to get his black belt. The guy's name is Derek Moneyberg. I looked him up a little bit before I did this video. Apparently his real name's Dale. But who am I to talk about that? Because my real name's Nick, but go by the name Chewy, so we'll go with Derek. But so this guy, gets his black belt in 3.5 years, and he takes this picture with, a bunch of different guys, a bunch of highly respected and skilled athletes, and the internet was just going crazy, right? Now, there's some people that are kind of like me, like, don't care, right? For me, this is like just another celebrity black belt. I'll talk about what I mean in a minute. But a lot of people were very upset about it. And this happens anytime in the jiu-jitsu community when there's a celebrity belt, or sometimes when we see a fraudulent belt. We go, we get really angry about it because, in jiu-jitsu, we tend to be very proud of the fact that it's different, say, than that karate dojo in the strip mall that takes like 1.5 or 2 years to get your belt, that they just hand out to all the kids and everybody gets the belt. Here's your belt. Everybody gets a belt. And it takes us years to get to just the first belt in the ranking, right? It takes a long time to get promoted. And so we take pride in that. And so when we see people circumvent that process, we get kind of angry sometimes. I've been even angry and done some calling out in the years past. But again, got a bunch of questions, people asking me what I think about it. And even one was from my student who was like, Chewy, what do you think about this guy getting a black belt based on only private lessons? His name's Victor. Maybe Victor's thinking about trying to work towards his black belt a little bit faster. I'm just kidding, Victor. So first off, I don't really care that much about the guy, but I do think it's an interesting time to ask, what does it mean to be a legitimate black belt, right? So we say, this guy's not a legitimate black belt. What does that mean to be a legitimate black belt? Chew on that idea a little bit. But going back to this guy, again, I don't know him from anyone, but it seems like it's a celebrity belt. And what I mean by celebrity belt, we all know there's the celebrities that come in, they do the private lessons, they pay a bunch of money, and at some point, they get a belt, right? You can barely find any sweaty pictures of them training, but then they get this black belt or belt promotion, whatever. To me, those people are more like, they're like honorary or something. It's almost like, you know, when the college will give someone an honorary degree after the fact. It's not like a real degree. It's just like, hey, you know, whatever. It's honorary. You know, you didn't go through all the rigors that this other person had to go through to get their real degree, but, you know, it's an honorary degree. It's like a, you know, high five for you. At least that's what it seems to be. I could be wrong about how those honorary degrees work. I don't know. But that's what it seems like. So I look at those people. To me, they're like honorary degrees, right? Opposed to, say, a celebrity like a Tom Hardy who's actually out rolling in gyms. What's the other one? Mario Lopez, right? He's out there doing it. You know, as an older guy, he's out there training. You see him. Like, you have respect for that because you're actually out there doing the thing. Just like us, right? And that's the whole thing with jiu-jitsu. And I think that's maybe why we get kind of grumpy about it sometimes as a community collectively. I know not everybody does, but as a community collectively, we get grumpy when people do this because we're like, we're going through this thing. It's difficult. It's challenging. It tests us mentally. You know, all these different factors. We have surgery sometimes. We get busted up sometimes. And here you are trying to circumvent the process by just coming in and paying for it. You know, we know when we get on the mats, you can have all the money you want to, but when you and I roll, we're going to see who's better. And you can't buy that necessarily. You might have resources that help you get there sooner, but you can't buy the skill. You got to put in the work. And so it seems like it's a circumventing of that and bringing us closer towards the karate dojo in the strip mall where, you know, you get a belt, you get a belt, you get a belt. That said, I don't know this guy from anyone, so this guy could be crazy legit and super, super good. And maybe Craig Jones is trying to set up a match. I don't know how serious he is, but maybe he sets a match with him at the CJI, and maybe he gets him an older black belt to compete against, and it's a great match. And we all eat our words and completely fine. It wouldn't be the first time I ate my words, but I'd be happy to see him be good because that would be a good thing. I think that would be a generally good thing if you actually saw this guy who's 45 years old, who goes out and trains for 3.5 years and becomes a legitimate black belt. I think that's promising for a lot of older guys, right? So if he does that, hey, fantastic. But from the looks of it, it doesn't look like that. One of you guys sent me a question and then you sent me these videos of him like demonstrating techniques. Is that in these videos where he's demonstrating these techniques and just moving around, it doesn't have the same fluidity that I would expect from a higher belt, right? And again, it's hard to put your finger on what that is exactly, but I think sometimes with skill and things of that nature, you know it when you see it. And as a coach, I'm looking at that going, maybe a white belt, maybe blue belt, but definitely doesn't look like a purple belt or higher. And he just, sort of clunkily moving around. And so I think that's a bit damning to your claim that you're a 3.5-year black belt, because it seems like you'd be like a phenom, right? When you think about BJ Penn was referred to as the prodigy because he was so good. When you talk to or hear about guys like Gordon Ryan was like a monster. Like even as like a blue and purple belt, people were talking about who is this kid, right? So again, you don't hear those things. And also too, kind of going along with that, when you listen to the interviews where they're doing those they're odd interviews where these people are talking positively about him, they don't talk about him in the way, and again, I've only watched a few minutes of this. I didn't dig that deep, so maybe I'm missing a lot, but got stuff to do. I'm here in Costa Rica. I'm not gonna sit here and watch videos. When you hear people talk about him, they do not talk about him in the way that I would expect someone to talk about them, I hope to say it correct, if this person is a 3.5-year black belt phenom person, right? What do I mean by that, right? Well, I can tell you that anytime I've had a person that really exceeded the average, I talked about that person very glowingly. Dude, this dude is a beast, a monster. Talked about my guy, Brandon Reed. I'm like, dude, this good dude he's so good. He's got a mind for jiu-jitsu. He's a stud wrestler. Chad Hardy back in the day, one of my, students, kid was just a stud. I was like,
if you guys know me, I don't give belts out. I don't give belts to nobody. So, Brandon Reed's okay, but I saw him rolling. I was like, it's a guy with brown belt. No gi is, but in the gi, I'm old school. I think you shouldn't get promoted in no gi unless you got the skill in the gi. But just consider it wrestling. You just do no gi. Why you need a belt if you ain't never gonna wear it? But if you want a jiu-jitsu belt, I feel like you should be rolling in the gi. I never seen Moneyberg in the gi either. I be throwing shots at everybody. Jiu-jitsu. Jake Shields, whoever, Big Dan. Whoever, bro. But my standards, I don't enforce my standards on anybody. That's why I don't have any students. I don't have to worry about that. So I'll let them keep talking.
This guy, he's a black belt level on the ground, off of his back. He's got such a sick guard. I talked about these guys in such glowing terms. But whenever they're doing these compliments, they're very measured. It's like, oh, he really knows jiu-jitsu and he can really explain it very well. And they sort of talk about it almost defensively. Man, I black belt really means a lot for me. So, it's something. It doesn't seem like the way that you would talk about someone, again, when you gave them a black belt in that short amount of time. Now, that said, any of these celebrity belts, in my opinion, I feel bad for them because it's like you got the belt, but you missed all the fun parts, right? Like when I look at jiu-jitsu, I could give an F less about my belt. It's just a thing, right? But it's what this belt is represented. Like when I think about all the memories, because like the older you get, they realize it's like you look back at your life and it's these like attachments, these bonds you created with these other human beings, the camaraderie inside the gym, the matches like where you were up against this person and you were nervous about this match and you had this pit in your stomach and in your head you're like, this dude's gonna beat me, he's from this big team, whatever, and then you go win the match. Or when you're down like 10 points and you come back to win the match at the last second, you're in the gym, you're frustrated, and all of a sudden you start making that progress afterwards. Whatever it is, you have these journeys that you go through, and these ups and downs that you go through, and that's what makes it good, the bitter and the sweet together, right? That's what makes this whole thing worthwhile. Not the belt. The skill that comes with the belt, the camaraderie that comes with the belt, the bonds that come with the belt. That's the stuff that to me that's really worth it. It could be just me. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But I feel sorry for these because you're getting this experience, but you're not really getting the real experience. Not the thing that like brings millions of us to the gym. To just be completely honest with you, if you took two people, one doing all private lessons, one doing group training, as long as the group's good and the coach is good, I would put my money on the person doing the group. They're going to get better faster. They're faced with more situations that they're going to have to deal with versus the private lessons. Private lessons are great. They're good to sprinkle them in there, but I don't think that they're the replacement for group training. My bearded opinion, of course. Speaking of bearded opinions, let's talk about this idea. What does it mean to be a legit black belt? Right? What does that mean? Is it just your effectiveness, like on the mats, like being able to beat everybody, right? But what happens when you get a little older and you're not as effective as you used to be? Do you have to start getting demoted after you become a little bit older?
I think it's knowledge. Can you guys see me? Where's my face at? People always had this argument, and I'm like, what are you talking about? When you see a black belt, it's the knowledge, it's the movement, it's the package, it's the whole package. Black belt's gonna be tough. I'm not saying the black belt's gonna forever beat the young people and be on top, but you're gonna see, oh man, that guy's good. So that's why we can watch Moneyberg and be like, that guy ain't a black belt. He's not a black belt. But then you have people like Mikey and Jake Shields and whoever else vouching for him. That's why I was jumping on Frank Mir. So what happens a lot too, you get these old guys that used to be good 30 years ago, but they stopped training. And they look like crap. So in my eyes, that guy's not a black belt anymore. And people jumping on me because I think Frank Mir, I saw him doing the technique. I was like, Frank Mir, that didn't look technical at all. So I think it's your technique. It's how you move, your knowledge, your experience. There's a reason everybody's not supposed to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Everybody's not supposed to. I don't care how long you've been training. Quan been training about 10, 15 years. He's still a blue belt. I'm okay with that. Quan's got to be okay with that. Not everybody needs a black belt. Moneyberg didn't need a black belt. But again, a lot of these guys don't have morals. They got different standards. People got different standards than me. For me, I train with guys like Lucas Lepre, Cobrinha, Marcelo Garcia. Like, man, I'm thinking, all right, a black belt should have some knowledge. I'm not saying you got to be their level, but you got to have some knowledge, some skill. Wrestling doesn't have this problem. If you're not an NCAA qualifier, you can't say you're an All-American. If you didn't win the world championships, you can't say you're a world championship or world champion. You didn't win the Olympic championship, you can't say you're an Olympian. Quan said blue is his favorite color. He's gonna stay at blue belt. But yeah, Quan ain't gonna complain. But it's only in jiu-jitsu people like, well, what is a black belt then? You know what a black belt is. You can see, you know exactly when you see a black belt. I can roll no-gi with somebody. Usually, well, maybe they might be a little bit rusty, but no-gi, nothing to tell me what their skill level is. I'm gonna think, oh dang, that guy might be a black belt. That guy might be a blue belt. Sometimes I'm wrong. But yeah, if someone has the skill and technique. I don't know why this is even a debate. And some legit guys will give away black belts. Even JT Torres gave Mo a black belt, and I ain't never seen Mo roll. So some of these guys got to sell out a little bit. It's just how the world is. But I'm not gonna sell out. But that's why I'm here struggle streaming, because I didn't sell out. I'm over here struggle streaming, over here in the basement. But I'm okay with that. I'm not over here selling out, and I ain't got Moneyberg paying my bills. I ain't got Moneyberg giving me cars. I'll just do my struggle stream. I'd rather do that. Have some dignity, whatever, a little bit of dignity.
That doesn't seem right, does it? We don't do that in jiu-jitsu. We don't say, hey, man, you're 50 years old now. You can't beat that competitive purple belt anymore. Time to go back down to brown belt. No, we say, just things change. Is it just time, though? Right? Maybe it's a time, 3.5 years. Maybe if this guy did it for 7 years, maybe that would be more acceptable, right? Possibly. But we know it's not just a time thing, because sure, there are gyms that promote based on time and attendance and stuff like that. And in jiu-jitsu, we tend to look about that not so well, maybe kind of McDojo-y, because we all learn at different speeds, don't we? What about teaching? Is it that you have to be able to teach stuff? You have to be able to explain this stuff to people, right? But then does that mean that the young black belts who are competing and winning everything, but maybe haven't developed their teaching chops yet, are they not real black belts? No, we know that's not true. And maybe it's just being able to explain this stuff, the knowledge, and being able to tell you what these moves are and everything else. Is that what it means to be a black belt? But again, we know that it's different from knowing something. Like, I can have a blue belt memorize a Danaher instructional or whatever, but they're not going to be the...
I'm done, man. You know what a black belt is, bro. It's like you know what a bird is, right? Well, you might not know what a penguin. You might not know that a penguin is a bird, but you see a bird, okay, that's a bird. You see a snake, that's a snake. You see a rat, that's a rat. You see a black belt, that's a black belt. I don't know why everybody tries to do all these crazy definitions. It's about business for these guys. Even for jiu-jitsu, it's about business. For Moneyberg, well, not Moneyberg, but Jake Shields is business. Mikey is business. All these guys, it's a business for them. Nope. They ain't say nothing about martial art. I ain't heard nobody talk about honor, respect. The only time I hear people talking about discipline and respect is from wrestlers. Let's go to JB's right now. Jordan Burroughs always talking about discipline and respect. I don't hear nothing. You don't hear nothing from these jiu-jitsu people talking about that. They talk about nose beers and, whatever crazy stuff. Quan loved that stuff, though. But Quan, say you have a kid. You want your kid to wrestle or do jiu-jitsu? Would you rather send your kid to train at B team kids class or JB, all I see is gold, wrestling class? Black belt should be legit, and Moneyberg is legit black belt at getting people to pay for his coaching. He is good at that. He's good at people. He's great at getting people to sign away their morals. Let's look for another JB post. He got some good posts. Is that him with the family? Nah, that's an easy one. I want a long JB post. Here we go. We got to rather my kid do just, yeah, but listen, you want your kid at B team kids class with J Rod and those guys, or you want your kid to learn some discipline? Quan, I don't know. I don't know if I trust Quan. He might have that kid doing some crazy stuff. Come on, bro. Move over. Nah, man, Quan. Get your kid in wrestling. If you got... So I feel like kids jiu-jitsu classes are better at leading them in the better moral than these high school and college wrestling. Nope. Listen, I said B team. I said if they had a kids class, you got Nikki Ryan running your kid. You might be okay, but they got Nikki Rod over there shirtless. J Rod's back. He's back. He's back at the gym gooning. Got Ethan and whoever else over there. Actually, those guys aren't that bad. But listen, let's read JB. Let's read JB's post first. He says, my son Beacon had the opportunity to tag along for the rudest photo shoot this week for our new USA Wrestling drop. Legacy to me is passing down principles, instilling character. You ain't never heard none of that talk at a jiu-jitsu school. Come on, Quan. Don't fight me, Quan. Quan love B team. You ain't hear nobody at B team talk about legacy or character. You not hearing nobody at jiu-jitsu say that. There ain't that many good programs. Maybe in Vegas. Who in Vegas got a good kids program? I don't know. Right there. Quan fighting me. But listen, you ain't got nobody, no kids program, maybe AOJ, ain't talking about legacy and principles. Legacy to me is passing down principles, instilling character, and if you're lucky, establishing mutual passions. My family loves wrestling, and we're invested in its growth. I love sharing our story with our kids. So here's how wrestling shoes are made, marketed, and make it to your mailbox. It brings life to it all. Beacon is a dugout kid. In most wrestling settings, I'm not even sure where he is. Likely somewhere in the arena, making friends, and trying to get an autograph from one of his favorite wrestlers. He has grown up surrounded by champions, and we're hoping with some more principles and a big heart, he'll someday become one too. We brought some schoolwork on the set to keep him focused and humble. Plus, I occasionally remind him, I'm the famous wrestler, not you. Quan, bro, I'm sorry. I love jiu-jitsu as much as anybody, but it's hard to beat a good wrestling program, you know? And not only are you going to develop a good wrestling program, but, you know, you're going to instill some principles in those kids. They're going to learn how to warm up. They're going to learn how to persevere, you know, and they might get a ride to a scholarship to school, you know. I don't think it compares, you know. I'm going to be honest, bro. If you got kids, put them in wrestling. You got a daughter, put her in wrestling. Whatever you got, put them in wrestling, man. They can do jiu-jitsu during the summer. Yeah, you know, most of these jiu-jitsu programs are just, you know, they trash, bro. Most of those kids programs are trash. The kids, you know, I'm not saying all the wrestlers are good. Of course, keep your eye on the wrestling coach, but, you know, chances are the coach is just, you know, unless they have their own academy, they're just volunteering, you know, because they love the sport. When is the last time you saw a jiu-jitsu person, black belt, or anybody volunteer because they want to help out the kids and grow their sport? Quan just going to fight me, guys. I can't win. All right, guys, I'm done for today. I'm going to get some food. Hopefully there's no more flooding. I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, that's it, man. If you guys want to support the channel, Inverted Gear, BJJ Mental Models, or as always, tell people about the live stream. And I should be on better time tomorrow. I've been so tired. Been too tired to get up early. Yeah, man, we can't compare wrestling to jiu-jitsu now, man. It's just there's nobody to look up to in jiu-jitsu. You got Moneyberg, Craig Jones. There's nobody to look up to in jiu-jitsu at all. There's no role models in jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying the wrestling role models are better. You know, you get a Kyle Snyder here or two, or Carter Starachi, but, you know, overall the image of the people at wrestling's better. You know, they just trying to wrestle, you know, pretty clean cut, you know, try to stay out of trouble. Jiu-jitsu, I go to Craig Jones's, where's Craig Jones at? And I do like Craig Jones. Nah, Quan, you take your kids going to jiu-jitsu class with Craig Jones. All right, kids. All right, coach just got done on a 3-day bender. Coach just got done on a 3-day bender, and he's All right, coach is ready. I'm ready to teach the kids class. Where's coach at? He's right here. Quan said he's gonna let his kids. Quan. There's some good jiu-jitsu coaches out there. Quan gonna let his kids train with Mikey. Quan, you gonna let your kids train with Mikey in Vegas? Jiu-jitsu is better for lazy old guys. Yeah, that's true. Quan gonna let his kids train with Craig Jones ain't bad. I give Craig a hard time, but I do like Craig. I mean, he wild though. Quan, you gonna let your kids train with Mikey? All right, I'm done, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, but your kid might be around Moneyberg. You gonna let your kids be around Moneyberg, Quan? Quan might sell out. Quan might be training with Moneyberg as we speak. Quan, are you training with Moneyberg over there in Vegas, bro? All right, guys, I'm done. Should be on tomorrow, God willing. I talked about the sponsorships, yada yada. That's it. We ain't got nothing else. Whatever else I can talk about tomorrow too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, bro. And I'm playing that in Inverted Gear. I need to make a new one. Well, I didn't make this one, but I need to make one for myself. But one day I will. All right, guys, I'm done. See you guys. Stay out of trouble. Say no to Moneyberg. Say no to Sriracha. You can't tap out Moneyberg because he don't pay you to tap him out. He pays you to let him tap you out. Nah, Moneyberg gonna pay to tap you out, bro. All right, guys, see ya.